Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk About House. I'm Todd.
I'm Juana.
So today we are going to show exactly how much the real estate market is cooled off over the last year, year to year, with some very cool graphs to go through.
So if you like graphs, if you like data, if you like us,
Or real estate.
or real estate, if you like, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, like the video, share the video, and if you're new to the channel, please tell us where you're watching from. If you're not new to the channel, thank you for being here. And whoever you are, please leave us comments. We'd love to engage with you. Let's go.
Okay, so the headline here, November 2022 existing home sales fell to the lowest level since November 2011. This is the total number of sales transacted. Now, the first chart we're going to put up here, I'm going to have to explain it because when we went through this, it took us a while to figure it out. Okay. This is the annualized rate of home sales, meaning if you go back to November all the way on the left, it says 6.3 million. The number of 6.3 million homes didn't sell in November of last year. What this means is if the rate homes sold in November of last year, if the normal seasonal rate of homes where homes sell more in the spring and less in the fall happened, there would have been over a 12-month period, 6.3 million homes sold. That's like they take the average and then they look. Now, this November of last year was the hottest ever November of total numbers of sales. Okay. And then as you see there, it went down in January, down in December, up in January, because remember the market was still kind of burning. Now, so it went up to about 6.5. Now, if we had sold 6.5 million homes a year, that would probably been a record. Because okay, now notice here how it declines every year. We're November of this year, we're 4 million annualized. That means if we go at the rate of home sales now, which is the lowest we've had, remember, because that's what the article said, that we'll sell, this will be like the lowest number of home sales in a year.
Right. So kind of take a look at it and let it percolate for a minute, and then you'll get it. The bottom line is that what this chart shows is that the rate topped out at the beginning of the year at about 6.5 million homes if we had sold at that rate throughout the year. And right now, what we're looking at, if we keep selling homes at the current rate, we're looking at a little bit over 4 million homes a year.
Okay, so Juana, what happened in January last year that caused this thing to tank?
My birthday.
Your birthday? What happened besides your 39th birthday?
Yes.
What happened to interest rates in January?
They spiked up, and they've been going up ever since.
Yeah, we actually met with a mortgage guy who said he thought rates would end up going to like 4.75. Remember that? He said 4.75. Okay, so they went higher than that. He was off quite a bit. Okay, so here's the interesting thing. Based on this, now we're going to show you the price comparison, the home prices, year over year, November 21 to 22. And you're probably going to think, oh my gosh, this is going to be super ugly. And it is. Home prices in all four parts of the country, year over year, went up from November 21. Now, when you look at this chart, the dark blue is 22. I would have made this chart the other way.
Yes.
I would have flipped it and had the first column 21 and the second column 22. Whoever did this did a bad job. They did not ask us. Home prices are up not only nationally, but in every single market segment year over year. Now, a lot of this was because home prices kept burning into June. They have been declining since then. But when you compare November to November, home prices were still up, which just shows volatility and the change in what's happening in housing.
Right. And we'll do another video and that shows more the hyper-local look for Vegas, because I know there are a lot of Vegas people out there. But this shows you nationally what's been happening.
The next chart's housing inventory. Now, typically, nationally, housing inventory peaks in the late summer, September, October. It actually, this year, it peaked July, August, but June was the hottest month. So the reason, and you can see it's declining. Now, in Vegas, our peak was in October. Actually, inventory has been declining substantially since October, about somewhere between 15 and 20% just in the last 2.5 months.
Right, which is normal for this time of the year, but because we have such low inventory numbers, it just exacerbates that.
The reason why home prices haven't completely been, eviscerated is because this number should be somewhere like 2 million. And it's not. It's with the number of homes historically, we should have 2 million homes of inventory for people to go out and buy, and that hasn't happened. This shows you though it's the same problem. The dark blue is this year, and then the light blue was last year. This shows you the percentage change. What's interesting is the Northeast looked like it's fared better, but that's because there's less people moving to and from, like moving to the Northeast to create a home sale. Where everyone was going predominantly was the South. And then the West and Midwest to some extent. But the South really was the super hot market. The total number of sales were down less there. In the West, it's been down substantial, which is where we are in Vegas.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you're probably saying, well, how does this affect us for next year? So this chart, this is what I expect to happen. If we were to time travel to November of 2023 and pull up the numbers here, I would expect that it's going to be between these numbers, the total number of existing home sales. We're not going to sell in the West 1.3 million homes. That's too many. We're not going to sell only 700. I think it'll be more than that. I think, part of that's going to be because in November, interest rates reached the peak of 7%, or we're just coming down from the peak. And the next little snippet we're going to show you is the actual projected interest rate by the end of the year. And that, I think, is going to be the thing that moves the needle for home sales to be up year over year, November to November.
Right. I mean, it's a long time between now and the end of the year, so a lot can happen. And I think a lot of it obviously is going to depend on some international things and, more specifically at home, how is inflation doing? And, I think inflation hopefully is getting a little more under control, and that's going to help everybody, not just housing.
Yeah, mild recession probably won't do much to the housing market because there's still that imbalance of more jobs than there are people looking for jobs. A deep recession might, because it would, you would have less potential people that would be buying homes.
Right.
Inflation going down substantially would have a huge impact, even if the Fed keeps the rate high, because the mortgage lenders are trying to cover long-term inflation when they sell mortgage loans. They're not trying to beat the Fed rate. They don't care about the Fed rate. They're not borrowing money overnight. They're lending money for 30 years.
Right, and inflation impacts everybody, but it impacts people in the lower economic part of the economy more because they're closer to the vest, so to speak, as far as they have less disposable income, so they have a harder time dealing with prices going up.
So if we have inflation going down a little, recession the economy getting a little worse, and let's say they cancel out. So what the magic thing then becomes mortgage rates. What do they do? So we went and checked out now the November numbers is actually the newest full month numbers that we could get, even though it's January. So what we did is that we went and got the mortgage rate update for January 5th of 2023. This comes from the NAR, one of the NAR economists blog, where they basically every week they do an analysis and then a forecast. Mortgage rates started the new year near the 6.5% threshold. According to Freddie Mac, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate rose to 6.48% from 6.42% in the last week of 22, but that was down from 7.03%. So it came down, it came up a little bit. Although rates are more than double a year ago, rates will likely stabilize below 6%, which means 5 something in 2023 as inflation will continue to slow down in the following months. Fannie had the most optimistic, they said 4.5, which I think is probably not going to happen. I wouldn't count on that. So let's talk about this one. Let's say we get back into the 5s and it's November of 2023. We have more than 700,000 houses transacted in the whole Western U.S. probably, right? Probably more.
Right. So that would be a good thing. It would make it easier for people to afford homes. It would give people more choice, hopefully, because now they've got a little bit more wiggle room in their payment. The question is, what will inventory do? Because that's really the $1 million question for everybody. And our position is that because interest rates are still substantially higher than what most people's interest rates on their current home is, that's really going to keep a lot of sellers on the sidelines, which will keep inventory levels from spiking.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. How do you think? Okay, so let me ask you this: how do you think that we've talked about the inventory level? We're historically really super low. That's really interest rates have gone up, but how do you think, like the average person out there, all they remember is last year to this year, and we went from the hottest to the when we were doing these a year ago, we'd read an article that said this was the hottest market in the last 15 years. And now it's like the worst market in the last 10 years. So how do you think that affects people psychologically when we went from the hottest market to the worst market? Like, that's a pretty abrupt change, which doesn't historically, this has never happened in real estate. Even in the 70s when interest rates went up, they didn't go up this fast over this short amount of time.
Right. So first of all, I think it's causing a little bit of trauma for people because it's so far out of the norm. It's so far out of people's memory, so people don't really know what to do with it. Particularly people who don't remember or never had an interest rate that was double digit.
Oh yeah, I think my first interest rate was 10 or 10 and a half.
Right. So I think that there's a lot to be said for that. Those of us that have been around a while, we still think that even today's interest rates are really not bad at all in the greater scheme of our home purchasing life. But we agree with you. We would much rather see 3% interest rates. I don't know that we're going to see that anytime soon, if ever again. So I think people are going to have to get adjusted to these numbers. That's really the bottom line. And luckily, to your point, people just remember what's happened the last couple of years. And so the farther we are from the 3% interest rates, the more that's going to recede in people's memories, and this will become the new normal.
I think people adjust pretty quickly.
Yes.
And I think when rates get down below 5, a lot of people are going to wake up and say, wow, this is great. I can't believe they're so low.
Yes.
And then we're going to have people comment saying that no one ever got a 2% to under 3%. You're making that up. There's no such thing as a 2% interest rate. No one got 2.5%. They've always been 6 or 7 or 5%. Always.
We know people got 1.9.
We know people that got 1.9.
Yes.
Yeah, on a large house.
Yes.
Like over $1 million.
Yes.
Well, the loan amount wasn't it. The home was over $1 million, but the loan amount was only like $700 or $800.
Right. I don't know what the loan amount was, but the point is, the interest rates have gone up. People have short memories, and the farther we are from the really super low interest rates, the easier it is for people to accept the interest rates being 5-6%.
Yeah, I agree. Overall, compared to this is the worst it's been. I'm optimistic for next year. We won't repeat 2021. Absolutely not. We won't repeat 2020. I think we'll go back to normal market eventually. But I'm more optimistic next year than I am this year.
Okay, I can go with that.
Okay.
So if you thought the video was interesting, if you thought we were entertaining, if you think that my shirt reminds you of Marge Simpson.
It does. It looks like something that the Simpsons would wear.
All right, there you go.
But it would be yellow.
It'd be yellow.
Not black.
Yes. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, like the video, share the video, and leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. Tell us, are you more optimistic for 2023 or are you more optimistic for 2024? We want to know what you think. It's much more interesting for us when we engage with you, so we welcome your comments. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.